Well, welcome back to my garden, everyone. It is April 15th. I thought I would continue the spring garden tour. This is part 3 if you haven't watched part 1 and part 2, and I figured I would start here with this beauty, Gable's Glory. It is very windy today. We have a cold front coming in, so there you might hear the wind in the background, but just thought I would try and have a little bit of free time, so I thought I would come out and continue to show you some of the spring colors on my Japanese maples. So this one here is Gable's Glory. Definitely, if you don't have this one, recommend it. It definitely lights up this spot in my yard. And this is a bright red beacon, which is what I was hoping it would be. The first year I planted it, it stayed on the greener side, but this year it's definitely the color that I was hoping for when I got it. So it's definitely living up to its name, and I can't wait for it to start changing some of the colors that you see in some of the pictures. But right now I'm just enjoying this beautiful red. Like I said, it just lights up this whole area of my garden. Kind of continue down the driveway to other parts of see some more of my maples. And you can kind of see I have some on either side of the driveway, but we'll start right here with my Shiraname. For those of you who maybe haven't watched part 1 or part 2, we got some frost damage. You can kind of see it. You'll see it probably on some of my trees, but you can see it right here on the Shiraname. We had a bunch of days in the 70s and 80s, and like 5 days in a row of 80 degrees, a couple weeks in the 70s and 80s, and then we got a 28-degree night. And even though I covered my plants with frost blankets and sheets and everything I had, I still got a little bit of frost damage, but luckily I think most of them have survived. Just took a little bit of damage here and there, but I think there's one of my 1 gallons that I planted in the fall may not make it, but I gave it some fertilizer. But anyways, we'll see. I might show you that one as we walk by it. But this is Shiraname. This color is amazing. This comes out with that kind of apricot and kind of fades to different shades of green, which is once again why it's called light wave. There's a reason why this is Elizabeth Mundy's, or one of her favorite trees, just for this beautiful color. The reason why I planted it here, gets a lot of morning sun, afternoon shade to really pick up that color, and it's right next to my driveway, so I really get to enjoy it every time I come and leave my house. So next to it over here, got a bunch of my peonies that are about to bloom, but right behind it is my English lace, and this one apparently supposed to be kind of like a red cereal. Definitely not as vigorous. It's pretty vigorous, but definitely not as vigorous as the cereal. It's definitely not as upright either. You have to kind of train it up if you want it to grow up, or else it's kind of more like this arching habit, or it grows more wide than up. But I'm gonna, the stakes there, because I'm gonna train probably this branch to start heading up, and probably after this season give it some cool shape and some character. But yep, that's my English lace. It does hold this red very well, so if you're looking for a red, kind of has that dissectum. This is more of a Matsumuri leaf, but if you're looking for that really divided leaf that kind of looks like a lace leaf, and that holds its red really well, English lace is definitely a good candidate for that. Behind it, kind of give it a nice color contrast. This is my Sunny, which is an Acer Shirasawanum. It comes out this really pretty orange, and usually the whole leaf is orange, and then it fades to the yellow. And actually for me, it holds this yellow better than Jordan and Summer Gold. And it's actually more of like an actual yellow versus kind of like a chartreuse yellow. So Sunny is definitely a good contender, especially if you're really looking for that yellow. It does green up a little bit, as you can kind of see up here, but like I said, the more sun it gets, the more yellow it holds. But one really cool thing is, unlike Jordan and Summer Gold, it it has that orange spring color, so this gives it something unique that the other ones don't have. So this is Acer Shirasawanum Sunny. And then got a pine over here. I think this is Flocta. I'm not exactly sure, I don't remember which one that is. That one, it's kind of blue-green right now, but during the winter time is actually really blue for me. And over here, looks like we got a branch from one of my hollow trees. This is one of my red lunar lobums. And like if you have seen my other videos, I'm not as good with pronouncing Japanese names, but for those that are interested, there's the name. I just really like the divided leaves the lunar lobums provide. So yesterday you saw pun kill. Today there's this one, and this one's just doesn't hold the red. This one's in a little bit more shade too, but even with it greening up, the shape of the leaves and how it blows in the wind like it is now, it's just it's beautiful. So over here I have my what is this? It's a hemlock, something Duke hemlock. It's an upright. It turns yellow in the winter. It's kind of turning back green right now. Some camellias and rhododendron kind of along this back line. Over here just starting to leaf out is my, this is S Sunset. It leaves out like this, then it gets that variegation that it's known for, and the underside of the leaves get like bright maroon, which they're not there yet, but in a couple days or maybe a week or so it will be. But S Sunset is one of my favorite trees. Next to my X Sunset right here, kind of glowing, this really orange apricot red color, this is my Moonrise. Moonrise is definitely like Autumn Moon, definitely in the color. My Autumn Moon was actually very vigorous. I got it as a small 1 gallon, and it grew to be like 7 feet tall in a couple years. And the first couple years actually was in a pot as I kind of moved it around, trying to find this perfect spot. But Moonrise, this one is definitely put on, looks like about 6 inches of growth or so this year, but that color that you get in that spring is really pretty, and then it turns to that chartreuse yellow green the rest of the year, and then a beautiful fall color. And then in front of that, this is which one is this one? I know it's a witch's broom. You can kind of tell by the nubby leaf. Let's see if I can find one. It's really tell by that nub of a leaf right there, center lobe nub. But this one is really, it's like Bart's Dwarf, I think this is what it's called, Bard's Dwarf or something like that. Bright red, holds it red really well throughout the year. Greens up a little bit in like August, but usually for me it holds this red really well. And this one is usually one of my favorite trees, but this year it's not really putting on the color show that it normally is. This one is Benny Missouri or something like that. It's still really pretty green, especially next to the reds and the apricots and pinks all around it. It definitely is a highlighter color. But normally this one's red too, and then it fades to a yellow. So this one's Benny Missouri, I think is how it's pronounced. Anyways, it's usually a really pretty tree. This year, for whatever reason, it turned red, so we'll see. It looks like you can kind of see some of the new leaves are trying to, but normally it leaves out like a bright red, almost like the Gable's Glory that we're looking at, and then it fades to a yellow, kind of like the Sunny. So that red on yellow contrast is usually really pretty. But either way, it's still a pretty tree where it is. So again, that's my Moonrise, and right next to it here is this one. Let's see if I can get a good shot of it. love the leaves and the bronzing, which is where it gets its name, Bronze Age. So it comes out kind of like this nice pretty red, and then kind of fades to that bronze, and they kind of hold this bronze color throughout the whole year for me with it, like the green eye. It's a really pretty, I think Talon Buckle's introduction, Acer Shirasawanum Bronze Age. So the two color contrasts, I took Tim Nichols' advice from Mr. Maple, planted them near each other, and definitely enjoying the two color contrasts playing off of each other. Down here, this is my Hana Matoi. I haven't seen too much. It's definitely more one color right now. There's not as much of that pink variegation because I think the whole thing's pink. Usually it's pink with a dark red variegation, kind of like Lillian's Jewel or Geisha Gone Wild or Shiraz. Lace leaf that kind of has that variegation. For me, it's doing pretty well. I know some people say it's pretty finicky for them, but for me, it's been doing pretty well. Hopefully, I think sometimes people say this one can revert, so I'm hoping this whole tree hasn't reverted with it being all one color. But either way, it's a pretty tree, and I'm enjoying it. Back behind it, here's my Firefly. You can see some of the really pretty reticulated leaves with like the red thumb or the red fingernails on it. I'm gonna get one that's not kind of blowing in the wind. But Firefly, this one for me does really well. Definitely, you can see it got some scorch damage from the frost on it, but for me, basically, it has morning sun and then goes quickly into afternoon shade and dappled light, and that's for me where I've noticed it gets the reticulation the most. I had it in a little bit more sun before I moved it, and it really turned more red pink versus this color. So if you kind of want this color, definitely shade is where you want it. A little bit of sun in the morning, but then shade. So for this one, I think it's in about 3 hours of morning light and then shade and dapple light from a high oak canopy after that. See some of my azaleas are starting to bloom. They're kind of in cages because the deer like to eat them, so until they get a little bit bigger, a lot of them are in cages. Some of my Japonicums, they came through and absolutely ate. So here's the one, I'm not sure. Hopefully it survives for me. I gave it some liquid fertilizer. This is supposed to be peak filigree. It definitely took a lot of frost damage. Even though I covered it, had a frost cover over it, it still just took a lot of damage. But hopefully, it looks like there's still some life in it. Did a scratch test. It's still green right now, so hopefully with that liquid fertilizer it'll push new growth and it'll continue to live for me. Working my way down the driveway. Up here, this is my what is this one called? This one is one of my gold digger. Thank you. This gold digger. Usually, it leaves out a little bit more bright. This is newly planted here, so last couple years it was in a pot. So it's more green this year than it normally is in the springtime, but either way, against that really pink orange bark, it's really pretty. This one definitely turns more yellow bark in the winter time, which is where it gets its name. Not quite as bright as bee hue, but definitely a really pretty yellow color. So that's but you can see some of the bark right now is just kind of fading from yellow kind of back more to that coral color. That one here is Gold Digger. Here is my Lionheart, kind of like English lace. The leaves aren't quite as big. This one can get pretty big as it matures. Give it plenty of space to get to look at it as I drive up and down the driveway. Red, dissective leaf. Yep, really pretty. This one actually, once again, kind of holds this red really well for me. So this is my English lace. Here's another one I hope survives. It took me a while to find it. It definitely has a lot of frost damage on it. This is my it's like Mari Chicago. I don't remember quite how to pronounce it. Once again, I have cage around it to kind of help keep the deer from eating on it. There's the name, but really pretty. That's let's see if I can find one more in the sun. For me, that comes out red, or sorry, it comes out green, but then as the sun hits it, it gets more of this brick red, and then it'll kind of change colors. I think it should survive. Definitely got some frost damage, but it looks like it's pushing new growth there. Once again, I gave it some liquid fertilizer because it had some pretty big frost damage on it. So I think this one should be okay. I just have the cage around it because I don't want the deer eating it, as well as it's trying to recover. Over here is my Kristian Star, and this one, as you can tell, also took some frost damage. One of the best spring interest by far. The spring interest on Kristian Star Acer Palmatum is spectacular. You can definitely see the frost damage that it took, but it definitely should recover. But yeah, if you don't have a Kristian Star, especially if you're in like the south where sometimes you may not get the fall colors because it doesn't really get cold enough, or the leaves are kind of tired by the end of the season, and spring interest is where you get most of your color, Kristian Star should definitely be on your list. Even now, even though the spring colors has faded, this yellow is quite striking. Back behind me, this is an Ever Autumn. It's just starting to leaf out for me, so this is one of the last ones to always leaf out for me, and it has this beautiful autumn red color, which is where it gets its name from. It does green up for me, but it holds this kind of bronzy red most of the year for me. I think it usually greens up kind of July time frame, so it actually holds this color pretty well. Once again, I had this one in a lot of sun and it just turned green immediately. Now it's definitely in maybe 1 to 2 hours of morning sun, and then dappled light and a little bit of sun kind of shining through the trees at the end of the day, but it's definitely holding its color a lot better for me. So this is definitely one kind of like autumn moon, where you kind of want to move around to find that perfect spot to kind of hold that color for you. So this one is Ever Autumn. Definitely a pretty tree, especially when you get that with the green backdrop of the holly trees. Almost done with this side of the driveway, and then we'll call it. We're gonna finish up. We technically have 2 more on this side, but the deer ate one of or almost all the leaves off of one of them. This here is Emmett's pumpkin. It's definitely getting that blush on the giant Japonicum leaves. It's just still leafing out. These will definitely get bigger, but the Emmett's pumpkin definitely gets its name from this orange blush. But really, in the fall, this is one of the best orange trees out there. So if you're looking for add some orange to contrast that yellow and red fall colors that you get in some of your other trees, orange pumpkin is definitely, Emmett's pumpkin is definitely, look how big this one is. Here we go. Now we're starting to get into some full-size leaves with that pretty blushing orange color over it. This one is a pretty vigorous grower. You can see even in here the deer kind of nipped some of it off. But Emmett's pumpkin is definitely a good candidate to add if you have space for it, because like I said, it does get big. But with that, I'm gonna end this side of the garden tour. The last one was another Japonicum owl Joan or something like that. It just is it's a more of a cascading Japonicum, very divided leaf. It only has like 2 leaves left on it right now. It was a small 1 gallon. I got it as a liner, so there's not really much to see. So I'll just end it here with beautiful colors of this Emmett's pumpkin. Thank you for joining me on this tour.